The one's got like sacks on the back feet.
Yeah. Babies just follow you around, get food when they need. What's up, Mama? So this is one of those times when the update isn't very fun. We have an update on our pigs. And it's that these are the only two left. Tommy Hoagland, the one we were feeding with the syringe, didn't make it. She had a hard time gaining the right amount of weight. She never got anywhere near as big as these two are. And it was hard for her to really take in anything because we had a syringe feeder. She couldn't even be bottle fed because of her jaw being so messed up. She never got full function back into it. Cute thing. She never got full function back into it, unfortunately. And we did end up actually taking her in the house, trying to help more. But it just didn't work. And then unfortunately this morning, we found Patches O'Houlihan, who was actually an amazing weight. She was just as big as this little ham here and was eating really well. But we noticed like a week ago that even though her wound had healed, she never walked around like these guys. She could never get in and out the way they do. She was always limping and even kind of trembling a little bit always. To where I always thought she was maybe cold or something, even though she felt warm. And it was just, do we need to help you? I think we need to get a little step going out here. There you go. This one right here is a pro. She's been going in and out the longest, so she can get in and out no problem. She's so funny. But yeah, Patches O'Houlihan, the one who had the big gouge out of her, and we had to put a wrap around. It healed really well, but she was always limping. There was definitely something broken and hurt internally. But like I said, it was weird because she got up to the same weight as these guys, and they're like 2 weeks old, maybe pushing 3 weeks. So we honestly just thought she was just kind of going to limp around. And for her life, she was going to be one that we kept. And yeah, this morning we were looking in and it was nice and warm and she was just laying the way a dog does, the way these pigs do, on her belly with her back legs kind of kicked back and her front legs under her. And my husband noticed and asked if she was breathing, and I jumped in and she must have just gone because she, was still nice and warm and pliable, and it sucks. And these are the worst kind of updates to have to give, and you almost want to hide these parts of the farm, and a lot of people do. They just show the good parts. And we got really lucky when we had our last pig. Really lucky. She had 2 litters. I believe one litter was 8, all 8 girls, the first one, not one casualty. The second litter was 9, and it included a runt, and the runt was the only one that we lost. So we got so lucky with that. And then when things like this happens, you feel like you just did everything wrong and you don't want to share it. But here on the Funny Farm, we like to be open and honest, especially because someone else is going to go through this, or someone else has, and you just want to show that it's not, something that doesn't happen on a farm. These things do happen, and they are the hard part of having animals. They're the hard part of breeding animals. But like I said, we like to be an open book. We like to be honest and let people know so that when this happens, they know that it's not uncommon on farms, unfortunately. Big, farms with hundreds of pigs, they deal with such a high mortality rate, because it just is so common with pigs. We honestly got insanely lucky with our last sow. And like I said, too, this was nothing to do with Pepper. She's an amazing mom. She did not roll over on a single pig once they were born and walking and eating. What happened was it was a thunderstorm the night she had her babies, And instead of having them out and about here, like Peanut did both times, and us moving the babies in here as they were born, or just out and about here and her having her own space to be able to move as they were born, she was in here. And this looks like a really big place for her, but when you're having a baby and you're pushing one out and then the next one comes and you're so uncomfortable that you're turning to get comfortable, she was stepping all over them. They were just so badly hurt by her stepping on them while she was trying to get comfortable for the next baby to come out. And I know not everyone who watches this channel is a woman who's had a baby, but let me tell you, when you're in that state, when you're having those contractions, when one's coming out, I don't care what you're doing, nothing's happening but that baby coming out in that moment. And you know, even if your husband's holding your hand, that hand is fair game to be broken. So I know with Pepper, it was just something she couldn't control. She couldn't try to move somewhere else when it was happening. But these two are extremely healthy. They were two that never had any wounds on them. They had never gotten stepped on. They don't limp in any way. They're eating really great. They actually usually follow her around trying to nurse on her while she's walking. So we planned to keep two, so these are the two we're keeping, and they're hilarious and sweet. And like I said, Pep is actually a really great mom. The fact that that one was so injured and she mothered it to be as big as it was and live as long as it did just goes to show how great of a mom she was. And even the one that couldn't latch successfully, she never once tried to kick it out. She didn't try to be mean to it or take it out because it was a little runt of the group. She was always talking to it and encouraging it. So we just know that next time, you know, it's going to be one of those where we set alarms every couple hours. We put a baby monitor out here, whatever we need to do to just make sure we're there to help her next time, because she really is a great mama. And these two are doing really fantastic. So one more enclosure to build, and it'll be for these guys, mama. But yep, so there's the update. Unfortunately, like I said, they're not always good ones. They're not always fun ones. But we like to be honest, and hopefully with our honesty, someone out there either learns something or can avoid something or feels like they're not alone. So hopefully you guys have a good one. Hopefully the next one's more upbeat. And thank you so much for watching and supporting. Oh my goodness, could you be cuter? Aww. Can you say see ya on the next one? Oh, little pig butt. We'll see you on the next one.